Joining me is One Nation leader, Pauline Hanson. Lovely to talk to you. Happy New Year. I hope you're well.
I am, and Happy New Year to you and all your listeners. Thanks very much, Grant.
It's
Luke, I should say.
It's Pauline, it's an absolute pleasure. People are loving you. Even this morning, we had an issue that involves the Australian flag on Australia Day by Chamber of Commerce. It appears a local council said, no, you can't do that. And they cite as one of the reasons why they can't, and we're checking all this out, the dimensions of the flag are all wrong. And there are so many people, Pauline, saying this is why Pauline is surging. We are sick of the you've got to hate Australia stuff.
Sick of the idiots out there, aren't we?
Yeah.
I'm so over it. I've been listening to it for years, and they come up with all these excuses to justify what they're wanting to do, and you're right. It's about hating Australia. A flag, an Australian flag, is an Australian flag. So get over it. You ratbags and idiots out there. If you don't love our flag, that tells me you don't love our country. May I suggest go and get yourself on a plane or a boat and get the hell out of the place. Leave it to the rest of us.
You know, that's a thing now. And I've noticed it sitting here all summer after the Bondi Beach atrocity. You've seen it a lot longer than I've been looking for it. But people are just, you know, we tolerated anti-Semitism almost to not to offend people. We allowed the Sydney Harbour Bridge to be kidnapped by 100,000 people, and lots of them just expressed hate for Israel and by extension Jewish Australians. No, we're over it. Stop telling me to feel bad about Australia and stop tippy-toeing around. Get real. And I think the electorate is in a place it's never been, or perhaps not for a very long time, and you're the winner here. Look,
if One Nation can get hold or in opposition, whether in the state or the federal parliament, eventually I believe that we can, okay? I've got a positive attitude about it because people are starting to wake up and realising the two major political parties have done nothing for us in this country except go down the gurgle and destroy our standard of living, way of life and who we are as Australians. So people need to understand governments basically, it comes down to the policies that they want to present and how they want to run the country. Just because I may not have a university degree or, I don't speak eloquent enough for some people or not articulate enough, and I'll put it out there.
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't mean to say I haven't got a brain in my head or know how to run a country or a business because, I do and I back myself. If I can't do it, Luke, then I get the right people around me. I don't rely on the bureaucrats that have been running this country for ages and telling these idiots of politicians what to do because they don't have a bloody clue. So you actually get rid of those bureaucrats that have been there long-standing, have run the country in the ground. You get decent people around you who are prepared to make the decisions and call it out for what it is and get this country back on track. Yeah. And I know that we can do it. That's why I've got Barnaby Joyce on board. I've got a couple of announcements to make at the end of this month and into the next month. We are pushing ahead with it. So it doesn't come down to just you should vote Liberal or Labor. I'll tell people out there, get your head out of the sand. Go and look at the policies. It's like, do you invest your money into a financial institution that's going to lose your money and destroy your standard of living? No, you don't. So you back who is going to do the best job for you. Politics is the same. You back those who put in across the policies that are going to work hard for you and give you rewards at the end of the day. That's what I'm about.
You know what? I'm going to quote Jacinta Nampijinpa Price here, but this applies to you because she said during the campaign we should make Australia great again. And that's something that you've not just said, but you've been practicing for years in politics. I mean, we shouldn't be ashamed of that. But the way that she was made to feel guilty for saying something that is so obvious, like making Australia great again, would be for all of us that live here, work here, pay taxes here, or even if you don't. Yes, I want to hear that from leaders. I want to hear someone that wants to get the job and make the place better. What's wrong with that?
Why are we in this job anyway in the first place? Because we love our country, want the best for it. I've got skin in the game, not only for myself, but my children, grandchildren, and people rely on me to make the right decisions. Why would I go out there and do the wrong thing by the people in the country. What annoyed me about Jacinta is that instead of standing by her word, she backed down from it.
Yeah, she did.
And I got out there and I said, sorry, I'll scream it from the rooftops, and I'm proud to say it.
Yeah.
And that's what we've got to get, that leadership that's proud to say it, stand by, and be a conviction politician that believes in what you're doing.
Yeah.
People may say, oh, she doesn't always get it right. None of us always get it right. But be prepared to admit when you do get it wrong, listen to the right people, and do get it right the next time. Learn from mistakes. But this is what governments don't do now.
Yeah.
They're not listening and learning from the mistakes of other countries around the world. We keep following the same stupid footsteps.
Yeah, and isn't that perfectly exemplified by the Prime Minister? You didn't need to be anything other than just decent to realise the day after December 14, what do the victims' families want? Let's give them time to work it out. A Royal Commission, you get exactly what you want, and because I owe you that. But he dithered and carried on, and all of a sudden, I suspect, Pauline, the polls show, hey, Albo, you got this wrong, and he does a backflip. I mean, the obvious is generally the right thing, and you do it. But it's so stage managed these days, it just annoys me.
Luke, he's got it's wrong on so many issues, whether it be the voice, whether it be to do with the climate change issue, all this renewable rubbish that's going, what it's costing the country. You know, everything that he's basically done and touched, the housing, the immigration, everything. He's really made a hell of a mess of it, and he's got it wrong because he didn't understand the background. He diverted from the real issue, which is immigration of people we've allowed in the country, the radicalisation that is happening. And he said, you know, instead of dealing with the real issue, he wants to put it on about the guns. It's got nothing to do with the guns. You don't go after law-abiding Australians and take their guns away from them, who are farmers, those ones who go out for the sporting shooting, or whether they go out there for competition. You don't start going after them. The criminals will have the guns in this country, regardless of whether it's guns. Just think about it, people. They have 3 explosives in their car. They want it to cause the mayhem and damage. They would have done it either by the guns or they'll do it through bombs. So what's he going to do about bombs?
Excellent point. You've been to some of these flood-affected communities. Tell me what you saw, where you went.
Look, we flew up to Mount Isa, then got a chopper out to Julia Creek, the only way to get out there. The road's been cut, the rail line's been cut on the way out there. Plenty of dead cattle laying around, called into the community. They actually were very pleased and thrilled to actually see Barnaby and myself up there. They said we hadn't even seen the Prime Minister, hadn't had word from him whatsoever. The community put to us what they wanted, and because they've heard absolutely nothing. They said after the 2019 flood, which I went up to, they then got a great response from the Morrison government. They said we want basically the same from that, but, you know, with the CPI increases with it, which is reasonable. So they don't know where they stand. They haven't heard anything. We've already made representations. Barnaby assured the mayor. He got straight onto the phone to send Albanese a message to actually ring the mayor. And so that had to go through us, not the Prime Minister's office. It had to come from us for him to contact the mayor. Jeez. And so he should. Yeah. But, you know, these people, all they want is someone to listen to them, understand the hurt and pain. It's just not the farming sector, Luke. Yeah. It's the other businesses affected by this. So you got the small businesses in town, you've actually got the trucking companies, you know, all these other ones that are associated with it. So we need to support our farming sector and sure, yes, they go through these hardships from time to time, but how many of your listeners would want to live up there, be the producers of this nation on an agricultural industry that brings in the second highest money into the country and employment and money into the coffers? We need to support them.
Yeah, we do. And people want to talk to real people. They don't want to talk to manufactured talking heads. There's too many of them are masquerading around the joint. Will you, you obviously you're going to have to add additional policies, have a thing to say about tax and all that kind of stuff at some point. Are you in any rush to do that?
No, I'd rather get our policies out sooner than later, but I want to get it right. We put out our energy policies on the website with our immigration policies up there. I spoke to Barnaby on the weekend about more on our agricultural policy. We both agree with diverting water from North Queensland under the Bradfield scheme through the centre of Queensland down to the southern states. So we're very much on the same idea about water into the country, building more dams. We're going to, yes, I am. I've already started looking into taxation as I did the end of the year. We've been taxed to the hilt in this country. Our taxation policies are just, we'll rein it in, and we'll go with our policy again of middle income splitting for taxation, but also looking after, pensioners. And we're going to keep pushing that pensioners and aged pensioners, I will say, and veterans have the right to work unlimited hours without it affecting their pension. If they've been granted an age pension, they have the right to work unlimited hours.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep pushing forward with that. I see there was an article in the paper on the weekend with regards to it, backing up everything that I've been saying. That was our policy at the last election. So we'll keep pushing forward with this, but we need a complete overhaul of our taxation policy to increase investment in Australia, but Australian investment in our own country, which we're not getting.
Yes. Excellent. Stay well. You'll have a great year, I know that, and we'll talk throughout it. Thanks so much for your time, Pauline.
Thanks, Luke. Thanks to everyone. Bye.
Good on you. Nice to chat. Pauline Hanson. We'll take a break. It's